Good morning. Just trying to tighten this. How is everyone today? Good morning. Just getting my colors out, tightening up my hoop. Hi, George. It's my favorite part of the day. All right, I'm just gonna take a drink and then I'm gonna get started. But for today, you're gonna need 3 colors. You'll need 2 colors for the leaves here, and then you'll need another color for some details, outlining details. Okay, let's get started. So what we're gonna do are these 3 right here. And if you did the September stitch along, good morning, Meg. If you did the September stitch along, they're gonna be very similar to that. So they're kind of round like this. Oops, bit fatter. A line down the middle. I'm just gonna outline them again because I want to put some lines in there. Especially this one because it's a bit curvy and I would rather it be a bit more fat on that side. There we go. Okay, so what you're gonna do with these is we're gonna make some lines from the outside to the inside. And you can make these as wide or thick as you want them to be. So it's really up to you. There we go. It's a little bit better. Goodness. Goodness. Okay, so we're just gonna make some lines like that, and then the same ones on the other side. Yeah? And continue for all of the ones that you have. Of course, you can make more lines than this. You can do half one color, half the other color. You could do less lines if you only wanted like 3 or 4 on there. It's totally up to you. Just zooming it in. Hello, hello to everyone who's joined. So I'm going to use these 2 colors and alternate the satin stitch for each one. So for this one, I'm going to start with satin stitch in one color, and on the other side, I'm going to do the opposite, like that. Yeah? With these 2 colors. So let me just get some thread for you. Huh. It's a jewelry commercial. I'm doing all 6 strands. You can always do less if you want, if you'd rather do 3. I think there's only going to be like maybe 4 stitches here between here and there. So if you want to do more, then you totally can. It's up to you. Robin, I did not get your Christmas list yesterday. Very disappointed in you. Okay, so maybe it'll be more like 6 or 7. What's going on with this stand today? Like, it's moving all around. Dislike. So we'll do this every other one. A little bit better. And then we'll go back with the third color that you chose to do some lines to separate each one, and then a line down the middle. So for these ones, we're also not going to outline the outside edge. So if you mess up in the middle, it's not that big of a deal, meaning on this line. So it's not so perfect here, but make sure that the outline is nice and straight. Take some extra time. If you have to do the lines, you can do the lines. Good morning, Sarah. I think you know what the lines mean by now, but they are the lines that sometimes I'll put on the satin stitch to keep them all straight. Yeah. So I'm gonna do this side now. How are you this morning? I hope you're all right. So what I'll do is I'll do one full leaf. Normally I will choose a color and then do all of that color first because one, that's the easiest and the quickest, time saving. But what I'll do is I'll do one full leaf from start to finish. And then if you need to do something else with your life other than watch me stitch, then you can do that. Sarah says, I'm catching up, currently on day 4. That's absolutely amazing because Sarah only got this pattern yesterday. And it looks like Tash is here. Are you fighting a jet lag, my darling? Good morning. Were you up all night? I hope not. She says, yes, the jet lag is so bad. It is. I always try to get onto the time where I'm going as soon as possible. Do you know what I mean? So like if you arrive in the country in the morning, then you need to sleep on the plane so that you'll be all like rested. Oh no. She says, I fell asleep at 3 p.m. yesterday and woke up at midnight. Oh, that's so bad. And then personalized by I says, I'm doing some orders while watching you as well. We're stitching together. Yeah, so like that plan always works for me if I can get like on the time as soon as possible. But David, he says, I paid for the flight, so I want to watch all the movies. I want to eat all the food. I want to get my money's worth. Or I will happily like just curl my coat up into a ball and like sleep the entire time if I have to, you know? Robin says, I'm finishing up the September stitch along, hopefully tomorrow, and then starting the Christmas one. Look at you go. Tash says, I usually do the same as you, try to set myself to the destination time zone, but the flights were kind of awful this time. Well, you do have longer. so your flight was quite far. So I'm just changing the color to the other color that I'm using to do the other side of these leaves. And I'm just gonna fill in the extra little spaces. Ow. There's a knot right here, so and then obviously there's some fuzz from the knot from before, so we can just use the needle to pull that out. I'll do it later. Drives me nuts, that. Sometimes when you get those little things. Good morning to you who are just joined. Good morning, good morning. Is anyone all Christmased out yet? I know they've just done all the Christmas commercials on television. And we've made all of our lists to go shopping this weekend to see what stuff we can get here in England and then what stuff that we need to get in America. I know in the States we haven't had Thanksgiving yet, so it's the 4th Thursday of the month. So it's the 28th this year. So normally it's like right after Thanksgiving. That's when we get all of our like Christmas stuff and get it all out. Mine's been out since like October. Sometimes you just pull too hard. See my needle go flying. There's also knots back there, so it doesn't really make it ideal. Okay, so this is what we have so far. Let me do a little knot on the back. My needles are flying all over the place today. Goodness gracious. And then you can either choose a darker color, like an even darker color than these, or a lighter color. I'm going to choose a lighter color. And what I have written down is either couching or just straight stitches. So it depends how straight your, it depends on how straight your leaves are. So if you notice at the beginning, I kind of made mine a little bit thicker and more round. So the black line kind of went around like that, but I made mine kind of thicker on each side and then a straight line down the middle. If you do a curvy line, then I would suggest that you couch the middle like we did for these ones. And if you do just a straight line, then just a straight line down the middle will do. So I'm going to use 2 strands. So this one was 6, all 6 strands. This one I've got here is 2, and I've chosen a lighter color. Because I'm using less strands, you might have to make more than 1 knot. So just keep that in mind. Because the other day I was using 2 strands and I only did 1 little knot on the end. I've done 3 all on top of each other. And I was stitching along and I went to go like pull it and I just pulled it completely out and I was like, oh, that's nice. Perfect. So what we'll do is come on the edge, and of course there's a ton of knots here, so I did not plan that right. And that's kind of what I mean about planning. Let's see if I can make it bigger and then you can see. That's kind of what I mean about planning out your embroidery stitches, like where to come up and where to go down so that you can make it easier on yourself. For example, if I ever do flowers like, I don't think I have any around here. Like the Lazy Daisy ones. Like these kinds of ones. I'll always try to make the least knots as possible in the middle because I know I'm going to go back in the middle and add some French knots for the center. So like the more knots that you have around there, that's just more obstacles for you to kind of look out for. Go back down. That's really bothering me. So all we're doing here is just doing some straight stitches between each of the colors. And then we'll do 1 down the middle as well. So like I said, you could have done a darker color. I probably could have even gone lighter with this, to be honest, because I think I probably could have gotten away with a lighter color so you could see it a little bit better. But that's okay. Maybe next time. You don't want to pull too hard either, because I've just pulled that in between a little bit too hard. Because it's 2 strands, I just want it to kind of lay on top. And then for the end, we'll go 1 right down the middle. Yeah? Now, like I said, if you want to couch this down, you totally can, or you can just leave it like that. If you couch it, I would do just 1 strand and try to couch it at these marks where they already are, where these 2 things will meet. So you do 1 little tack here, 1 tack here, 1 tack here, 1 tack here. Yeah? I don't really think it needs it, to be honest. But like I said, if you've got a curved line in the middle, then you're going to want to do it. The other thing you could do would be to backstitch around this if you wanted to make it a little bit like your edges weren't so smooth. And if you did that, then I would try to keep it kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches, you know? So 1 here to here, and then here to here, here to here, here to here, here to here. Try to make it look nice and cohesive. Any questions about that then? Oh, I really need to get a new phone stand because I've got the bendy arm one. And every time that you do it, I think I'm going to give you guys some kind of like a dizzy spell or something. So there we go. Sarah's just said, do you celebrate Thanksgiving in the UK than Christmas in the US? So this is the first year in a while that we've done Christmas in the US, but we always do Thanksgiving here. So obviously people in the UK don't celebrate Thanksgiving. So we do a Friendsgiving, and we just normally we invite about 15, 18 people over. I think last year we had maybe 12 or 14. And then we do the whole turkey. I would do a big turkey. And then we do all of like the traditional foods that you eat at Thanksgiving. So it's a bit different than the ones that you guys eat here. Sorry, I'm just trying to every other one so that I don't have two greens right next to each other, so that they can be a little bit, different. So I'll do this one. But yeah, so kind of every family in America has some different foods that they eat. So like every family will have, like their own family, not so much recipes, but like the traditional things that their family eats. So if you go to like a different person's house, then they might have something a little bit different. And yeah, so we normally have sweet corn, and then we have a green bean casserole, which is green beans with like a cream of mushroom soup and then some French onion crispy things on top. And then we have a sweet potato casserole, which is sweet potatoes or yams. And then you put cinnamon and brown sugar on them, and butter, and you put them in the oven and you cook them until they're soft. And then you put marshmallows on the top. That normally it like makes everybody go, what? Excuse me? But we've always grown up with it. What else? We have biscuits. Not biscuits like here, biscuits like the savory ones. So they're more like a roll. And then stuffing. So that's kind of like the regular stuffing that we have in the UK, but like here it's a bit more like wet. And the one that I make is more dry, and it's got like a bunch of vegetables in it and breadcrumbs, sausage, apples, just a bunch of stuff. I can't give away the whole recipe, obviously. And then, yeah, so we just have some friends over because we don't have a lot of family here. I mean, obviously my family is in America, but David's family is quite small. So if we had a Thanksgiving with just family, I think it would be like 6 people or 7 people. There's not very many here in the UK. So we do a little Friendsgiving, and we all get together, set the table up nice. So I'll be sure to take some pictures. I think I've gone into one of my other stitches here. I'll just stitch over it. Airy Fairy says, whereabouts in the States are you from, Tori? I'm from Ohio. And then we'll go back to the States this winter for Christmas because David is a teacher, so we get the Christmas holiday. And then, yeah, it's gonna be cold, so cold. She says, I've only been to New York, but want to visit everywhere in the US. New York is fun. Some places are more exciting than others. I think like the United States is so big. It's like it's hard to like really like be from America and like really like know and see America. Do you know what I mean? Like without just saying like the stereotypical things. Like to actually go and see all like the different states and different areas and all the different climates and everything. I'm expecting a package and I really hope that that's not them. It's just bags for the market so that people have something to take away their things in, you know? But still. So yeah, like I said, it does go a little bit faster when you do all of one color and then go back and do all of the other color. But at least if you wanted to tune out, then you could. My hoop isn't very tight right here, you can tell. Karen says, how would you normally give this like a Christmas present with the hoop included? So that's up to you. They are ready to hang in the hoops. So that's how normally I would sell them. So if you bought this design, then I would stitch it up and give it to you in this hoop. Some people will take the fabric out and you can put it in a frame. You can make it into a banner if you're into sewing. I can show you an example of a banner in a minute. Yeah, people do all kinds of stuff with it. It just depends on kind of what you need it for. So for mine, I'll probably just end up finishing those this weekend. So for mine, I always cut my fabric into a circle. Let me zoom out. Ooh, Meg is baking and watching. What are you baking, Meg? Okay, so normally when I'm stitching, I don't like to have the squares because the squares will catch in your thread sometimes. So a couple times I've actually stitched the back of this fabric here into the back of my piece because it was a square. But I know some people like to make their, and I've done this as well. My sewing machine isn't working very well at the moment. I've got to figure out what's Biscoff Tiffin. Muffin? I think it's muffin. And that sounds amazing. So this right here is what I've done in the past as well, is to make them into a banner like this. This one I left in the hoop too long, and it was just a prototype, so I didn't really care that much about the ring. I think I left it in the hoop for about a year. But yeah, so this is just like a little example. But I've made these a lot of times as well. And all you need to do is just make sure that you measure out your fabric first. So obviously this amount of fabric would not be good for a banner because there's not enough fabric. So you kind of have to plan it in a way that works for what you want it to do. If you wanted to put this in a frame, then I would suggest doing more fabric, leaving it as a square, and then pressing it really nicely with a cloth over top, just in case. Tiffin is right. Oh, okay. Tiffin is right. It's similar to Millionaire Shortbread, but with Lotus Biscoff. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. I'm going to write that down and look it up because it sounds so good. So yeah, if I had my sewing machine working, then I would definitely be making more of these for the Christmas markets because they're super cute. And top tip, if you go to the, what is it? I'm trying to think of a place in the States that would be like a hobby craft, but would have baking stuff. Maybe Joann's might have it, but definitely Michael's would have it. If you go there, you can get these kind of kebab sticks. And I think at Hobbycraft they're like 10 or 20 for £2. And they're already cut to this length. So you don't have to like faff about with cutting things or anything like that. It's just, they're already there. And then obviously if I want to make smaller ones, I can cut them in half or whatever. So yeah, it just depends on what you want to do with your stitching when you are finished with it. But yeah, after we close it up, it'll look like that. And then you can hang it on the wall through the hole that's right here, or you can tie a little twine on it. I know some people have put like a little eye here and here and made it like into a banner like that way, you know, to hang it up like that. People do all kinds of stuff with it. So I think that's going to be it for me for today. I've showed you how to do one here, so you can go ahead and do the other two by yourselves. And yeah, I hope you have a great weekend. Make sure that you tag me in your... Still didn't do that. Darn it. Make sure you tag me in your stories or in your grid posts, and I will share and like and comment on as many as I can this weekend. Yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys have a great one, and I will speak with you soon. Bye.